We are just a few weeks away from the release of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And while I have talked about this film enough on this channel where I give my opinion on what I think's happening, I'm just going to reiterate it here. I am not that excited for this film. I think the idea of the multiverse is already become tiresome. We have seen enough films and ideas presented in this world where I am just not excited for more of it. And I think the trailer where they revealed Patrick Stewart really said to me, this is less of an idea about like a great story and more like we had the spider people work in No Way Home. We're going to fit that into our own narrative. That's what it feels like to me. I'm not trying to diminish anybody's enjoyment of what this film could be. I'm simply saying from what we've seen for this film, it lacks a certain interest for somebody like me who doesn't think the multiverse is that interesting. All that being said, the idea of cameos does excite me, just because there is something that could be cool and fun about that idea that could get overlooked or not really have itself presented in the proper way. So this video, I'm going to be looking at my top 10 cameos for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I do not know anything about this film. I do not know what it's going to do or how it's going to look. These are just 10 things or people I want to see presented in this film, given what we've seen already for the actual look and feel of this picture. These are my top 10 cameos for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. At number 10, I had to put it on the list just because it's one of my favorite characters they've actually put in the MCU. It's Quicksilver. They were teasing it in WandaVision. She is thinking about her brother throughout that film, and I think Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's a really good Pietro. That characterization of Pietro, I think, is the perfect interpretation. He's cocky, he's brash, he's caring, a little aggressive, and he gets a good ending. I want to see that explored again. Do I want him to come back and stay a member of the team? I would love that so much. Do I think it's going to happen? No. He signed on for a Craven film, and you know they're going to try to make that a Sinister Six thing. But just appearance. Maybe in another timeline where the Avengers went on and Quicksilver got to continue his story, I would just like to see that character explored again, have him come back into the continuity just for a minute to be like, hey, you could have had this, Wanda. Look how happy we were here. You and Vision had a happy life. Your brother was still alive. Wouldn't that have been nice? That would be something I would just adore to see, because Aaron Taylor Johnson, a great interpretation of Pietro. Coming in at number 9, I have a controversial one, and that is Jessica Alba's Invisible Woman. If we're bringing everybody back from everything, this is the one I want to see the most. Just because Jessica Alba's fantastic and Sue Storm is a great character, she was unjustly wronged by that film. The key to Invisible Woman, and I've talked about this in other places, the key to Invisible Woman is you never make her the object of sexual desire. She is the authority figure, she is the mother, she's the one who will control the situation and keep it pleasant. When you have scenes where she's taking off her clothes in public and stripping down to nothing for everyone to see, so the audience is like, that's an attractive woman, you're doing injustice to that character. You should not be doing that with this character. And I think Jessica Alba, a fine actor who deserves to have an opportunity to revisit this role and have it come full circle for her. I don't think there was closure for that role. I'm not saying this because I know anything about her, but I'm like, you see the way they treated her in those films and treated that character, you should want to come back to that and have an actual opportunity to do something original and creative. I would love to see her explore this character again, and if we're bringing anybody back, that's the one I want to see. I don't really care about, Michael Chiklis or Chris Evans. I would like to see Jessica Alba return. And coming in at number 8, I have any reference to Strange Academy. This is one of the few comic books that I really like about teenagers. I have openly said this. I am not a fan of the Harry Potter franchise. I do not really enjoy stories set in schools. Strange Academy surprised me by actually telling a story about the Marvel Universe's use of magic, and that was a really creative idea it took. I want to see more from this world. I think, I've said it since the beginning, this series, it's 18 issues in, is perfect for a Disney Plus series. If you tease me, Dormammu's got a son, maybe there's a young woman discovering her power like Emily Blight, you do those things, suddenly you're establishing a larger world. I think that's a really fun idea. And I know we might not be heading there right away. It's an idea that I'm sure they're thinking about where it's we could turn this into a series and just showing the larger world there would be great. Maybe we go to Weird World and we meet Toph. Maybe we see Desi in Hell or something and all these different characters in their places. It's a fun area to explore and something I want to see presented on the big screen. In the same vein as 8, my number 7 is Brother or Dr. Voodoo. This character, in my humble opinion, is way more interesting than Stephen Strange. I love Jericho. He is such a cool and interesting character who kind of only recently found his footing. Like, everyone has an attempt to make him cool. You really can do that. You can really make this character something special and unique. I don't know if this is the direction they're going to be going in this film, but to see him show up in any form it takes, maybe he's a multiversal sorcerer supreme, maybe he's just a random character who shows up to help Strange fight people, maybe he's training the dark magics, who knows? I want to see Dr. Voodoo show up. He's a complex character who never really gets his break at times, and to see him become something cool and interesting, that's what I want to see from this film. I get Steven's journey. He's arrogant. He's humbled. We'll see that every now and then. But Jericho actually knows those lessons. He is straight up just a decent guy. He's better than him in every way. And at number 6, another controversial one, I'm sure. I want to see Sam Raimi. I want this movie, and we've seen glimpses of it in the trailers. I want this to feel like a Sam Raimi film. And there's recent comments by Bruce Campbell where it's like, yeah, Marvel said to come in and axe these scenes and throw in these ones so you don't even know what your final product is till the day. That is so scary, and I hate the thought of hearing that for a guy like Sam Raimi. He's not my favorite director, but he's got such a vision and a project. When you know it's him working on it, you can feel that and you can see that. There are certain moments in the trailers where we do get that feeling, but I'm worried it's going to be scarce and far few. I want this from the beginning to feel and set up like a Sam Raimi horror film, like a classic Evil Dead feeling, where it's just bright colors and this dark, intense feeling of these great sweeping shots. I want this to feel like a Sam Raimi film. I hope it does. I'm worried it's not. I know he's a team player, and I could get behind a team player doing something for Marvel, but put your style in there, bro. You're doing it with like that eye thing with Wanda we saw in the trailer. Get more stuff like that. That's all I really want to see from this. Coming in at number 5, I have the Utopian Parallel, and this is the origin of America Chavez. I have a feeling we'll see something like this, but fully commit to it. We recently saw Fantastic Beasts, the references to the homosexuality between Dumbledore and Grindelwald was cut out for certain markets. I want a full-on scene in this film where we go to the Utopian Parallel and it's just a bunch of beautiful women just being great, just being the most powerful heroes in the universe, just being the best people ever. That's all I need. That's all we want to see. Like, if we introduce America, I don't want it to be like some street tough kid who's smart enough to traverse the multiverse and she's like Tails in the Sonic movie. That's not what I want to see. I want to see like, hey, my moms are heroes. I want to help this guy save the multiverse. Well, we actually go to her place in the multiverse, which is a Utopian Parallel. I want to see that. That's way cooler than just, I'm here to help you, Steven. Yoop-de-doop. Do something with that. Don't make it Femascara where it's a bunch of like strong women just intimidating over men. Make it like, we are heroes, we are feminine, define feminine, I'm feminine. Do that stuff. Show it. Be great with that. The Utopian Parallel, it's a great concept. It could make for great television too. If you want to do something over there, maybe do it. Unless you kill it off, who knows? Coming in at number 4, we have the Man-Thing. Now, I don't talk about it a lot, mainly because I don't know where you talk about it. Man-Thing is one of my favorite concepts in all of Marvel Comics. I love this character. I love the place it represents in the continuity. Just this weird Swamp Thing creature created by the same guy that created Swamp Thing that just represents and protects the Nexus universe of Marvel. You're dealing with a bunch of cosmic shit going on from multiverse to universe to whatever. You gotta throw him in there. You gotta have that little creature that's just like, yo, this isn't good. I'm gonna burn you. I'm gonna hurt you. We did have a Man-Thing movie. I want to see more stuff like this. Just give me Man-Thing in his weird, goopy glory, just showing up, helping people, being this weird creature. Maybe he's going to join a team later. Maybe he just shows up. Man-Thing is a cool concept. I don't want them just to, like, throw it away. Give me some full-on concepts. Maybe we see the villain, like the evil Strange, just traversing through the Everglades, comes across the point of the Nexus universes, and suddenly this creature emerges from the swamp and burns him with his touch. And then he's like, hey, I can't talk, but for some reason I'm just giving him a voice right now. Get the hell out of my swamp. Like, I love Man-Thing. I have so much Man-Thing merchandise for some reason. This character is cool. I want to see more from it, and I want to see it explored in larger media. Give me my Man-Thing. Give me my giant-sized Man-Thing. At number 3, I want to see Peter Hooton. Now, for those of you who don't know, there was a TV movie in the 70s called Doctor Strange. He's the actor that played Steven. If we're doing this, if we are fully bringing back these people, he's still alive, even for a freaking cameo, which is what this needs to be, because that's what this video is. Bring him back. Just bring him back. If we can have Benedict Cumberbatch playing 5, 10, 100,000 different versions of that Steven, I want Peter to come in and just be that one from his television show. Just a weird, campy guy not doing anything. If anybody's going to make that work, it's Sam Raimi. That's all I really want to see. I don't care how many times Benedict Cumberbatch comes out in a different hairstyle and a different colored suit. That's boring. I get that. Like, it's not special to see an actor play off himself in a world like this. But if you get that guy to come in, and nobody knows who he is, you're like, that's not Benedict. Why is he playing a Doctor Strange? Then you're doing something clever. You're actually doing something fascinating. And yes, he's alive. He's an older man, but it could still work. You could just throw him in there, make it look fun, do something special with that. I want to see that almost more than anything. If it wasn't for these next two, this is the thing I'd want to see the most from this film. But my number two, the second thing I want to see the most from this film is Linda Carter. And I know what you're thinking. I know. You're like, what? Why would you want to see Wonder Woman in here? Not that Linda Carter. We have Christine Palmer in this universe. She's there. It's what's-her-face, Rachel McAdams. We also have Claire Temple potentially moving over from the Netflix stuff with Rosario Dawson. Linda Carter is the last one of those classic night nurses we haven't seen. And we could do a whole video talking about the history of the night nurse and what these characters represent to each other, and growing up from like that teenage character to becoming the nurse to becoming the comic book Marvel character. I want to see them all there. We get glimpses in the trailer of Rachel McAdams in some night nurse gear. Give me Linda Carter. Set up a night nurse thing, like a multiversal night nurse, where there's like these multiversal night nurses going around protecting people. We know Christine's here. Claire is potentially here already. Show me Linda. Get her in here. Do something special with that. That's really cool. If you're going to do it, if you're going to commit to Christine Palmer being a night nurse from another universe potentially, just give us the rest of them. It's a complex history, but you could still make it work. And if that wasn't the thing I wanted to see the most, here's my number one. Out of everything we could potentially see in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness film, the number one thing I want to see is something I know they will never do. They will never have the guts to do this. It's so important to me that this is what happens. I love comic books. I love every major comic book universe. If you are going to do a multiversal movie where our lead character goes from different dimensions and is hopping across time, potentially time and space, to all these different locations, you cannot do this, a celebration of the Marvel Universe, without a tease, without a hint of a red cape flowing in the wind attached to a red suit, maybe a red pair of boots. You cannot do a multiverse movie at Marvel Comics without hinting at the possibility that DC Comics is connected to it. I'm not saying show the emblem of Superman, because you can't do that. I am saying give us one quick scene where you're passing through a dimension and you see a red cape flowing in the wind. It implies to anybody who knows a thing or two about these worlds that there is a connection between Marvel and DC. It tells you, like, hey, we could clear that out for ourselves, but if we don't, it's just we're passing through another superhero universe. It's not saying this is the DC universe. It's implying this is a character with a costume who we haven't really used because we can't, but they exist too. We are acknowledging the presence of this other universe, these other characters that matter. I really, more than anything in this multiversal movie, more than anything they could do, I want the tease, I want the hint, I want the indication that the DC universe is right around the corner, and I want that through the indication that we are seeing some semblance of a Superman costume on a hero. It's a red cape with a yellow outline to make you see, like, oh, that's the symbol of House of L. Maybe it's the boots on the ground. Maybe we see the glimpse of, like, the red cape in an ice planet. That's all I want to see. Just the idea, the notion that the DC universe is right around the corner. Will we ever see that? I don't know. But who could stop you from showing a blue costume with a red cape? Nobody could stop you from doing that, but you could. And we'd all know what you're doing. So maybe do that. So yeah, I'm sure these picks are going to be controversial for some people just because they're not what people would be expecting. I don't want to see anybody from Fox show up. I don't need to see Tony Stark as the infamous Iron Man, as Tom Cruise or that shit. I don't need that. I just want to know that Superman's there. Just around the corner, there's Superman. I don't know what you guys want to see, but that's what I want to see. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.